Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bookmakers Reviews coverage of the Bundesliga. There we are. I can see us now. I'm your host, Martin Green. I have Matt Lawerence alongside me to break down these games. We got to start with the big news, Matt. Greuther Fürth, they won a game. Greuther Fürth won a game. I can't believe it. It feels like the world's upside down. They were on a 12-game losing streak, and they finally picked up a win against Union Berlin, which was pretty shocking. But they did revert to type in midweek. They lost 3-0 to Dortmund. So I'm hoping that Greuther Fürth can lose another 12 games in a row, and we'll keep cashing those tickets. What did you make of the Bundesliga, Matt, this week and in the weekend?
I would take, even Firth, losing maybe 8 out of the last, 8 out of the next 10, something like that. Just continue to grind out some profit for us. Yeah, exactly what you mentioned is what I was going to say. Is they reverted right back to type in the midweek, and Dortmund win, and cover the 2.5 Asian handicap line. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about them. And it shows really how down I am on Union right now. I watched their Conference League game on the Thursday before Firth, and they were poor. They had to win to go through. They just looked awful in that match, and it kind of made me feel not great about betting on them, but I just felt like I had to just continue to ride the first streak. And but yeah, I'm excited for these matches. Yeah, there should be some goals here.
Okay, great. Well, let's get started then. We're going to go to Munich. We have Bayern Munich versus Wolfsburg, which should be a cracking game. But Bayern are such heavy favourites for this. I mean, Wolfsburg are in terrible form, but they did finish top 4 last season, and they have been playing Champions League football. So I'm not sure I feel all that comfortable giving Bayern like a minus 2.5 handicap in this one. Seems a bit steep. What do you reckon, Matt? Could you find anything on this?
No, I didn't. I want to be with Bayern. I think that, if you're trying to make a parlay, and you're trying to add some extra smaller value to get that, let's say you have a minus 110 parlay and you want to take it to plus 110, things like that. I mean, it makes sense to somehow get Bayern on side. I mean, maybe look at Bayern team total over 2.5 goals, and that's at minus 175. That's a capable parlay piece. But for me here, it was tough to find the value. I think that Wolfsburg are in pretty bad form. I don't want to be with them in any way, shape, or form really now or even in the weeks to come. But yeah, so Bayern win this game. Maybe you can try and find like a goal scorer. Somebody that's been around the goals often is Serge Gnabry. He's been assisting, scoring. Find a way to include him. I mean, you could find a way to get Lou and him and even Muller, something like that. I mean, that's really the only way that I would want to get involved here.
Yeah, I did place a little bet yesterday on Serge Gnabry to score at plus 150. Really good price considering he just banged in a hat-trick and he looked so dynamic against Stuttgart. Set up that goal for Lewandowski, and I think he's got the pace to really cause problems for Wolfsburg's defence in this one. That's why I chose Serge Gnabry as the picture for this video. I think he's going to have a good game, and you can't get any value betting on Lewandowski to score anymore. It's just ridiculous. So you have to find some of the players around him. We had Thomas Muller, didn't we, scoring against Barcelona in midweek, and yeah, you can find some value on some of the other players because he doesn't score them all by himself. Okay, yeah, let's move on then. We're going to move on to Bochum versus Union Berlin. I'm very much inclined to fade Union Berlin now based on the evidence of that game. Shocking stuff, not being able to beat Greuther Fürth. Bochum are bad at home. I know they're another newly promoted team, but they've got pretty good results at home so far this season. So what do we think, Matt? Can Bochum get the job done here?
It's Bochum or nothing for me here. This one almost made the top picks. I'm very close to pulling the trigger on this. I think that Bochum, getting them on side in some way, shape, or form makes total sense. Union are in a really weird place right now. And I think that, getting Bochum maybe at plus a quarter, taking the home side and getting that quarter head start here makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, I mean, Union, not the greatest against Slavia. And then the FÜRTH showing was porous. Their offense is not clicking. The 0-0 yesterday against Freiburg. So at least they're able to somewhat keep it tight against Freiburg, but my goodness, Freiburg was without their best defender. And yeah, Union they're just looking really poor. And guess what? They're really poor on the road. They've only won once in their last 13 away matches in the league, and they concede almost every single away match. So this has got to be Bochum for me. And Bochum, look on the flip side, undefeated in their last 6 home matches. This makes total sense to me to get on Bochum in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it was Union Berlin's poor away record that did give me a bit of concern last weekend, because I still had to bet on them. I still had to fade FÜRTH. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and see myself as someone that doesn't fade FÜRTH. But I wasn't 100% bullish just because they are so poor on the road. Now coming up against Bochum, I mean, very, very good home record. Like you say, they've only lost once at home this season. They've got the 8th best home record, despite playing fewer games than some of the teams above them. And yeah, you can get plus 110 on Bochum draw no bet. So once again, I haven't put it as my official play for this show, but I did have a little small bet on Bochum plus 110 with the draw no bet option yesterday. So I think that's the way to go. Next up, we have Eintracht Frankfurt, who have been terrific in recent weeks, Matt. Banging in goals left, right and centre. They made a bit of a shaky start to the season, but they've always had quality, and they're finally starting to show it now. Up to 7th, I believe, and they could overtake Mainz if they win this game. Do you think they have the power to pull it off?
I do. I think that when you're looking at a side here, it's Frankfurt or pass for me. Getting them at a nice plus price of plus 125, plus 130 makes total sense. I mean, throwing up 5, like you said, against Leverkusen is no easy task. They score in pretty much every single game that they've played in, and they just find the back of the net. But on the flip side, so does Mainz. They have scored a goal in all of their last 11 matches. So they're finding the back of the net as well. So this one was a fairly easy one for me. Both teams to score and over 2.5. If you want some more value or you want to go for a bigger price, it totally makes sense to go with both teams to score and Frankfurt to pull off the win here. But I'm just not going to care who wins. And I think that both teams find the back of the net, and this one pushes up, up, up and over the 2.5.
Okay, I'm just going to go for a straight Eintracht win. So I'm kind of hoping that they win and not really caring too much about the goals. But I also do think that we will see goals in this game. They've just been involved in a lot of really high-scoring games recently, haven't they? 3-2, 5-2. It's why the Bundesliga is one of the most entertaining competitions in the world right now. Just lots of very open, exciting, high-scoring games. Not the greatest defenders, I must say. Barcaman's on the chat. He's always giving us some good tips. He's going for Eintracht draw double chance and both teams to score at 2.14, and Eintracht team total over 1.5 goals at plus 102. Sounds good. Yeah, we're all coming from the same sort of angle then. Thinking it's going to be a high-scoring game. Thinking both teams get on the score sheet. And thinking that Eintracht Frankfurt can get the job done. I'm just a bit concerned about Mainz's away record. 5 defeats from 7 games on the road this season. They're terrific at home, but they really do struggle on their travels. And Frankfurt's not the easiest place to go to. They're in really confident form right now. And I can see the home team getting the win. I got plus 130 on Eintracht, which I just thought was a massive, massive price. But yeah, you can put it with a double chance on both teams to score if you want to play it a little bit differently. Next up, we've got another really exciting game. We've got Hoffenheim versus Borussia Mönchengladbach. What has happened to the Gladbach defence? 17 goals conceded in 4 games. They are tumbling down the table. They're only like a point above the relegation zone, that 16th place relegation playoff place now. Things are looking so bad for Gladbach. Coming up against the Hoffenheim team, Matt, that just can't stop scoring right now. Are we having both teams to score and over?
So I'm just fading Gladbach. It's as simple as that. I just don't want to be with Gladbach at all here. Look at their road form. They've only won 1 of 8 on the road. They've conceded 1 or more goals in their last 12 on the road. This is probably the best bet on the card. You want to be with Hoffenheim, and you're getting them at a plus price, which really, so you see plus 110 today on a Thursday. I have a feeling on Saturday this closes at minus 110, somewhere in that range. Hoffenheim are great at home. They've won 6 in a row at home. I mean, come on, Hoffenheim to win. That should be a bet. And then also what I've gone with on the show, Hoffenheim team total over 1.5 at minus 130. They scored 2 here. That's just, maybe Gladbach can, they scored 2 yesterday and they hung around with Frankfurt and it was an entertaining match. Hoffenheim don't have the greatest defense in the world, so I can see them conceding. And that's one of the reasons why it's just, don't complicate it for me. Team total over 1.5. I think it might be the best bet on this entire card.
Yeah, love it. Thanks, Matt. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, Hoffenheim are just in terrific form, and these teams are going in opposite directions. 4 wins and a draw from their last 5 games for Hoffenheim, back up into the top 4, playing some really attractive football right now. Gladbach's defence is just an absolute mess. I must say, I didn't think they were actually that bad against Eintracht Frankfurt. I thought they could have actually got a draw or something out of the game, but so many lapses in concentration at the back and ended up losing 3-2. They've been conceding really a huge amount of goals, but they do still have quality in attack. Put 2 past Frankfurt, scored against RB Leipzig. So I have gone for the old Alex Classic. I got minus 125 on it. Both teams to score an over 2.5 goals. I think surely that has to come in when you consider the form that these 2 teams have been in. Okay, it's time to discuss our favourite team, Greuther Fürth. Bet on them week in, week out to lose. It's been the most profitable thing we've done all season. All good things, I guess, have to come to an end, Matt. They did finally beat Union Berlin, ended a 12-game losing streak. But they reverted to type in midweek, lost 3-0 to Dortmund. I had minus 2.5 on Dortmund, so that was beautiful to see. Coming up against Augsburg now, and you can get like plus 130 on an Augsburg win. Would you go for that, or what are you thinking about this game?
So I'm just thinking about trying to get involved with Augsburg goals. I think that they win. I think that's a fine price, and this could also rival what I was saying in my sentiments on Hoffenheim team total. I mean, this could also be right up there with the best bet on this card. Look at Augsburg. I mean, look at what they've been doing their last 6. Okay. They've scored over 1.5 goals in 3 out of the 6, and in 5 of the 6 they've scored. So they're finding the back of the net. They put up 2 against Bayern, 2 against Bochum, 2 against Köln. Why can't they put 2 up against FÜRTH? And you're giving me 2.25 on them to just score 2 and not even care if they win the match or not. I mean, yes, please. So, I'm going with Augsburg team total over 1.5. I think that if you want to find a way on some more angles, Augsburg to score in both halves, Augsburg, money line, halftime, full time. Looking at those are going to be pretty big prices, Martin. Like you're going to get like 2-1 or something on a halftime, full time, or on to score in both halves. I mean, that must be gobbled up. I mean, maybe you're just kind of splitting your stakes up and doing it that way to make up, maybe it's 2 units total on Augsburg, or it's 1.5 units, and you're finding different angles and splitting them up. They all make sense to me. So for this one, yeah, Augsburg team total over 1.5, 1 plus 125. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's an amazing price. Like that a lot, especially when you consider that FÜRTH concede more than 3 goals per game on average this season. I guess maybe the bookies have priced it like that because they kept the clean sheet against Union Berlin in their last home game. But
they're not firing. Union Berlin aren't firing right now. I was looking at maybe Augsburg team total over 2.5, Martin.
Wow. Yeah, even more value there. Why not? If you want to do a small stake on it. Yeah, I mean, they battled reasonably well in midweek, but you could tell that they were just overwhelmed by Dortmund's quality going forwards. Augsburg by no means as good as Dortmund in attack, but I have been pretty impressed with them in recent weeks. Only 1 defeat in their last 5 games. Like you say, they've been ambitious and dangerous in front of goal. They are still 16th. They're languishing in that kind of relegation playoff place that they have in the Bundesliga. So this represents a golden opportunity for them to climb above some of the teams ahead of them and get up the table, put some distance between them and Greater FÜRTH. So yeah, I wouldn't put anyone off just a money line Augsburg win. It's an amazing price when you consider FÜRTH have lost 14 out of 16 games so far this season and may well be the worst team that the Bundesliga's ever seen. I went maybe I should go more bullish, but I went for Augsburg draw no bet at -130. Give me -130 and I get my money back if it's a draw. It just seems like a gift to me because I really cannot see Augsburg losing this game. Let's go. Let's hope that FÜRTH do us proud and concede 5 goals or something again. Okay, we are going to move on to RB Leipzig, who have been pretty good recently, galvanized by the new manager coming up against Arminia Bielefeld, who haven't been particularly great. They're second from bottom in the table. Things aren't looking great for Arminia. Should be a pretty comfortable win for Leipzig, Matt, but how do we get value here?
So I think that this is probably my least confident play, but I did put a smaller stake on this one and I added it to the picks. But I've gone with Leipzig team total over 2.5 at +105. Okay. Getting a plus price on it. But the thing is I mean, I can totally see some people not agreeing with it in a sense because Bielefeld generally on the road like to keep it as tight for as long as possible. I mean, look at their last 5 on the road. Under 2.5 goals have been featured in all of those. So, and now I'm saying that I think that Leipzig get 3 on their own. But still, I think that the new manager bounce, they've been able to find their footing in front of goal. I mean, scoring 4 against Gladbach, that kind of, everyone on the front line for Leipzig, really is feeling good. They've scored 7 goals in their last 3 matches, and that's since the new manager change. So I think that they can get 3. They scored 2 once last season and once against Bielefeld. So I'm asking for a lot, but I think at a plus price, it made sense to me, and I think that Leipzig can get 3.
Okay, Matt. Well, I really hope that RB Leipzig are going to win this game 3-0 because I've gone for Leipzig to win and under 3.5 goals at -105. Like you say, they do keep it tight. I would have preferred, obviously, to go for my classic bet, which is the win and under 4.5 goals, but I had to push it to under 3.5 goals just to get that value. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Barcaman, Hoffenheim. Loves this bet. Hoffenheim in the draw double chance and both teams to score at even money. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. And second half, both teams to score at 2.60. For Augsburg, 2H. Too many letters there for me to read out in quick succession. Leipzig win both halves at 2.4. Andre Silva to score any time. Sounds good. Vivica Crystal's asking, Leipzig and Hoffenheim should be the banker. What do you think? I don't know if that is that a parlay. What do you think, Matt? Would you do a Leipzig Hoffenheim parlay?
Probably. I just don't think there's a lot of value. I'd rather have like Augsburg and Hoffenheim parlay.
Yeah, to be honest, that I haven't gone for Hoffenheim to win. I've gone for the both teams to score an over 2.5 goals in that one. So I do think Leipzig would win. I think they're a good one to chuck into a parlay. Maybe Augsburg double chance or something would be a good addition too. Okay, right. Next up we have Hertha versus Dortmund. Dortmund return to their brilliant best in midweek against the mighty FÜRTH. Good to see Erling Haaland getting on the score sheet, tucked away that penalty, and then what a terrific header it was. Do you think he's going to, put Hertha Berlin to the sword here, Matt?
I think so. Yes. I mean, I think that he can put anyone to the sword. He's that good. He's just in great form, coming back off the injury. Looks extremely strong, and it's tough to find the value, but I think that when you're looking at Hertha, they're conceding goals left and right. They just conceded 4 to Mainz, who don't have as prolific of an offense as this Dortmund side. But they've also been scoring in some of these matches. And again, this is one of those head-to-heads, though. Dortmund have won all of the last 5. They dominate Hertha. Home or away, it doesn't matter. I think that Dortmund are more than fine to be included in a parlay piece. Minus 175, that looks more than fine. And maybe if you're looking to get involved in a bigger price, maybe something like Dortmund to score, to win the match, and Hertha to find the back of the net. I could see that happening. It's at 2-1. But again, I've left this one, but when I'm starting to talk myself into more and more, I think that I want to be with Dortmund and maybe get involved in a parlay with them.
Yeah, I agree there. I've left it as well because Dortmund on the road, they've let me down quite a few times. And the price is just too low for me to really find anything that's exciting me. So I have left that one. Next up, we have Freiburg versus Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen will be disappointed by their failure to win in midweek for that comeback. Coming up against the Freiburg team that... Do we really know what we're going to get from Freiburg anymore, Matt? They win 6-0. They draw games they're expected to win. Bit of an unpredictable team. How do you think this one's going to go down?
Well, I know that 2 matches ago they lost their best defender, so that is a bit of an issue. Schlotterbeck, I believe that he is out, and he's been brilliant for them, if I'm not mistaken. I need to look back again, but I know that they lost their best defender, and I think that he's going to be out for a few weeks. So it might not be the best time to be backing Freiburg. Leverkusen, they generally score, and they generally score multiple goals. That is the only way that I could be looking. I'd be looking towards the away side in this one, but I didn't have enough confidence to make it official.
No, that's understandable. I also passed this one. I'm just not sure what we're going to get from either of these teams. I think maybe Leverkusen could get a result, but I think it's best to pass this one. Look pretty evenly matched to me right now. Final game we have is Cologne versus Stuttgart. And there's quite a lot to like about Cologne right now, I think. They are scoring plenty of goals, but they're also conceding. But what a terrific win in midweek. They never admit defeat, do they? And they keep going and they get their rewards. So loving Cologne right now. What about you, Matt? Do you think we can see another good Cologne performance here?
Yes, I'm hoping for kind of a chaotic match. I mean, I wouldn't mind if even Stuttgart get on the score sheet here. But Cologne are a very good home team. And they normally score, and they do normally, they normally score. They've scored at least 1 in their last 18 in the Bundesliga. So they generally find the back of the net. So that's why I have just gone with Köln team total over 1.5. I don't care if they win. If they end up conceding, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me, but I just want to bet. This is one of those offenses that I want to back. So, Köln team total at minus 105 for over 1.5 goals. That's where I've gone here.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Matt. I've gone for Cologne and the draw double chance and both teams to score at plus 105. I think that's the sort of bet that Barca Man likes. Been having a few of them over the course of this show. He's also going for Dortmund to win and both teams to score, and Leverkusen to score over 1.5 goals, and Patrick Schick to score at any time. Yeah, you can't really go far wrong with betting on Patrick Schick to score any time throughout the course of the season. Okay, that's brilliant. We have covered all the upcoming games in the Bundesliga. So it's time to ask the wizard to please bring up the picks and we will read out what we're going for. So 5 from me. I've got a straight win for Eintracht Frankfurt at plus 130. Augsburg draw no bet against the mighty FÜRTH at minus 130. Leipzig to win and under 3.5 goals at minus 105. Hoffenheim Gladbach, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 125. And Cologne and the draw double chance and both teams to score at plus 105.
It is just the goal show for me. It's the team total week. I don't know if I've had this many before like this, but yeah, I like goals in this league, so let's just keep it rolling. Mainz, Frankfurt, both teams to score over 2.5 at even money. Augsburg, team total at a plus price of plus 125. Another plus price. Leipzig, team total over 2.5 at plus 105. Hoffenheim, team total over 1.5 at minus 135. And Köln, team total over 1.5 at minus 105. Let's see some goals from some of these sides, Martin.
Love it, love it. Thanks, Matt. Ian's asking for a parlay as well. I guess we have to put up that both teams to score and over 2.5 goals in the Hoffenheim game, do you think?
Yes, I like that. And then I would maybe say your Augsburg draw no bet.
Draw no bet. Yeah, I think that would be the best. That would be the best parlay. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, Hoffenheim, Gladbach, mixed with Augsburg draw no bet. Looks great. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching along and for all your input and your great tips. It's been a wonderful show once again. Thank you to Matt. We've covered Serie A. We've covered the Bundesliga. So now we're off and we'll be back tomorrow for the Premier League and La Liga Primera. We look forward to seeing you all then.